1982? Are we just gonna keep going down the line here?
でもバトラ君が帰ってくる。
6年後のだいぶ先の話になる。
このままこんな辛い気持ちのまま来年こそはと、それはもう永遠に待ち続けるにも等しいものでした。
痛々しい話ね。
Shut up, no one asked you.
あなたがしたと思ってる約束を当のバトラは全く意識。
バトラ君はルドルフおじさんに似て、そんな言い回しが誤解を与えたのかも。
バトラはきっといつか後ろからまあつまりこれはそういう物語なわけかしら。
言葉は意味が宿れば、人の軽率な言葉は人を殺せるかもしれない。
Clearly. Okay. Okay. Next chapter, please. Next chapter, please. I think what, we got 2 more chapters in this, play they're putting on. Next chapter, please. Keep going. I just want to see what the breaking point was. Oh shit, there's 3 more chapters. Christ, alright. Sprout of Love, Root of Love. 1 year later. 1982, baby. Let's go. 4 years. Oh my god. Are we really just gonna go down the line?
ですよね。男ってどうして群れるとバカばっかになるんでしょうね。
Jessica's room was filled with laughter.
なんつうかさ、ちょっと大人びててかっこいいかな。クラスの男どもで群れてる時にゲビた話して下品な声で笑ってるの見ちゃうとさ。
Jessica, please, you're in high school. If you don't think that man's having some fucking creepy conversations with his friends when no one's around, yeah, you're the delusional one, alright? I thought he was cool and mature, but he likes to talk about boobs with his friends. Yeah, alright? We're in high school, or middle school, whatever year this is. What, you're 17? Are you 17 or 18 in 86? Regardless, this is, what, 4 years to then? So yeah, like late middle school, early high school, somewhere around there for you. Listen, guys are gonna be talking about boobs. And fucking. And vagina. Alright? It's just it's just a natural course of life. Especially at that point in their lives. Like the people who don't have those kind of conversations behind their friends' back, they're the weirdos. Alright? They really are. If you're not having those kind of conversations, or at the very least those kind of thoughts, you're the weirdo. You straight up are. Because I knew dudes like that. I knew dudes, like, me and my friends would have those kind of conversations. They'd be like, oh, you guys shouldn't talk about stuff like that. And guess what? Those guys were the fucking weird people that no one ever talked to in school. That had, like, no friends. I'm not saying you have to talk about, tits and ass to get friends, but, like, having those kind of conversations is normal. People have those kind of conversations. When you don't have those conversations, you're, like, when you're actively against having those conversations especially, that's when people are like, okay, weirdo. And it's not just the fact that they decided to be different and everyone pushed them away. Like, they were genuinely weird people. That, like, it wasn't just those guys that wouldn't talk to them. It's everyone else. Not only me and my friends would be like, okay, weirdo, but, like, people in other classes would be like, yeah, no, that guy's kind of fucking weird. Even some of the teachers would be like, yeah, no, that guy's pretty fucking weird. The teachers would talk shit behind this kid's back, which I'm not saying that's okay. I'm just saying, chances are the guy you're looking for, he's either doesn't exist or he's definitely not going to meet your expectations there, Jessica.
確かに男同士でいる時の男の方ってすごい子供っぽいですものね。
Shit, I'm in my mid-20s now. This is still true. It's just the boys' mentality, alright? When you're with the boys, you act like one of the boys, alright? That's just how it is.
まあそれを言ったら女も
I'm
同じ
sure.
ようなもんですけど。
The fun chat between girls continued without end. Tonight, Karasa and Natsu were out late at a meeting on Nijima. Most of the time Natsume was always watching, so Jessica would always make sure to be curt with the young servants. But when Natsume wasn't around, Jessica never did that. She had invited the servants of similar age to a room, and they were chatting away noisily. At that age, everyone wants to know about love. Thanks to the rigid and constricting way Jessica had been brought up, she enjoyed talking about it all the more.
お嬢様だって素敵だし、お年頃だし、気になる男の子がいらっしゃるんじゃないですか？
恋はしてえけど、気になる男子って
お嬢様はもっと恋に積極的でもいいと余裕ぶってられるのも今のうちですよ。友人の誰かが付き合いだしたなんてことになったら急に世界が
そんなわけ。私の友達に裏切り者はいた。多分。
ああ、ダメ。女の友情で一番信用ができないのが恋の出し抜きです。お嬢様だって素敵な人と知り合ったら絶対友人なんて裏切って付き合っちゃいますって。
シャノンはどうなんだよ。
Yeah, of course. What about you, Shada? What would you do if you fell in love? I would wait.
私ばっかりでずるいぜ。シャノンも話せよ。
私はそういう方が
Not around. True. You're not technically lying. He's far, far away. And like Arahime and Hikibashi, I don't get to see him very often. In fact, I don't even know when I'll be able to see him again. However, I believe that he'll come for me someday. I believe it.
シャノンは裏切るなよ。彼氏作るなら一緒だぜ。約束したもんな。
ああ、案外早く一抜けしちゃうもんですよ。
What? Shannon? A head start? That's crazy. Mamon, you're wild.
シャノン、本当に付き合ってるやつはいないな。
いませんよ。本当に本当です。
私たち恋人作るのは絶対だぜ。嘘ついたら針千本のませ。
はい、約束します。それらについてる顔ですよ。絶対この中でシャノンちゃんが一抜けする。
What? That's wild.
私には分かる。僕ってそんな子がいつもみんなを
Mama
出し抜
crazy.
くんです。
What? I love when Jessica and I were the second thought. You son of a bitch!
白状しろ。
お許しください。
And so another Sunday afternoon passed by. I worked my way out of the fight and looked up at the sky through the window. Is Battle-san happily chatting away with his friends somewhere right now, just like I am? As I think of you like this, are you thinking of me? But if I ask that, it's the same as admitting that I don't trust you. I'll wait. And when you do come for me, I'll announce then and there that I'm quitting my job. I've already prepared myself to do so, but you haven't come yet. That isn't because you won't come, but because I'm not determined enough yet, right? It's because I haven't clearly envisioned a future with you, right? I'll wait. No matter how long. Until you come for me, riding a white horse. I will always treasure our promise. The promise of our precious resolve.
男と約束なんか当てになりませんって。
Thinking that she had read my mind, I spun around. Of course she hadn't, but...
やっぱその辺さ、男と女で価値観ってかなり違うと思うんだよ。
違います。基本的に女の子は夢見がちで、男は何も考えてなくて適当って感じです。
What?
異
That's
性同
wild.
士で心を通わせるってやっぱ無理なの。
相当難しいと思う。女はすぐに相手のことが分かったような気になっちゃう。男の言う特に深い意味のない言葉に勝手に勘違いしちゃうって。
ああ、いるそういう。傍目に見てどう見ても大したこと言われてないのに、一方的に彼は私に気があるとか言って。いる。
女の一方的な勘違いって痛々しいですもんね。
The pair of them laughed together. When a girl gets the wrong idea, could that be me? No, that can't be. After all, Bather-san clearly made a promise. He said he'd come for me riding a white horse. I mustn't doubt. I'm sure this conversation I'm hearing is just another one of God's trials. Excuse me. So I won't listen. I won't care about it.
勝手に心が通じたとか思っちゃう痛い女の子にだけはなりたくねえぜ。
Wow, y'all seem to have just the most convenient conversations. Those demonic sneers tormented me and tried to lead me astray. I'm sure he'll come to the next family conference. Yeah. Let me guess, 1 year later. But Bad-Son didn't appear at the 1982 conference either. Bit by bit, things were changing from the way they'd been at the last family conference he'd come to. Everyone had gotten completely used to Kirie-sama, Rudolph-sama's new wife, and she came down off the boat with a familiar stride. Her daughter, Angie-sama, was growing well, and all the family focused their attention on her. Even Maria-sama, though she was still tiny, was already 5 years old. She was full of energy and old enough to enjoy playing with George-sama. Jessica-sama and George-sama had already stopped talking about Badler-san's absence. It was the same with the other relatives, too. No one touched on the subject, as though they had forgotten that Badler-san was missing. Maria-sama had only been 3 when she'd last seen Badler-san. It was doubtful whether she even remembered him. In just 2 years, all trace of your existence has been erased from the Usaramiya family conference. That made me sad. And so...
今年もバトラ様はお帰りにな。
そうだね。彼が来なくて寂しいかい？
それは
ルドルフおじさんたちも彼のどうやら僕たちが思ってたよりもずっとバトラ君は
あいつ本気でもう帰ってこねえのかな。
やっぱりあれは巣立ちだったんだよ。彼は新しい人生の捨てそういうことじゃないのかな。
無鉄砲のはちゃめちゃなやつだ。ま、男ってのはそういうもんなのかも。
彼のことだからね。新しい生活もきっと順応して、だから心配しなくていいと思うよ。
When George-sama said that with a smile, I felt a bit uncertain. What does he mean by there's no reason to worry? I'm sure he's enjoying himself.
バトラのことだから私たちのことなんかケロッと忘れてたの。
きっとそうだよ。
What'd you say? You can bet he's forgotten all about us? No, that's the wrong thing to say, Jessica.
そして僕はそれが一番だと。バトラ君は自分と家族、そして亡くなったお母さんのことを考えなら、その新しい人生に後ろ宮家のことなんて忘れてしまうくらいがちょうどいいよ。
George-sama smiled at me, as though expecting me to agree. After a moment of shock, I smoothed my expression over and found the expression he was expecting. Is Badler-san living happily, having forgotten about the family, about me, about our promise? That can't be true. It just can't be. Badler-san must be looking forward to that day of decision just like me. I'm not mistaken about that. He promised me. He said he'd come riding a white horse. I never asked him to say that. He said he'd come for me on the day I resolved myself to live life for his sake. He had made that promise himself. For 2 years, I've believed that. I've done all I could to make it through God's trials and the whisperings of demons that tried to throw me from my path. And yet, the things both George-sama and Jessica-sama are saying are so cruel. Badler-san has forgotten about us and has started a new life. Why are they telling such lies? Taking another trip to the Rose Garden, are we? But that night, I dreamed of Badler-san for the first time in a long while. The Badler-san in my dream wasn't the Badler-san I believed in. It was the Badler-san that George-sama and Jessica-sama had spoken of, the one who had forgotten everything and started a new life. Morning. I woke up with a tear-stained face. The face I saw in the mirror, cried, and told me it couldn't wait any longer. If I've managed to wait this long, why can't I wait any longer? This is a trial, so we must believe in him and wait. But the me in the mirror spoke. It was sharper than a fragment of glass. I talked about this promise with him, but did we ever really make such a promise? Wasn't Jessica-sama talking about it? That some girls are dreamers who get the wrong idea? And wasn't George-sama talking about it too? Said that Badler-san had gotten used to his new life and had forgotten about the Ushiromiya family. And by now, he isn't the only one who's forgotten. Unless I ask about it, everyone on this island has forgotten his name. Even Rudolph-sama doesn't say his name anymore. If I weren't here to remember his face, perhaps his existence would have been erased from everyone's hearts. I don't believe it, so I won't doubt. Badler-san must still remember his promise. We're both waiting for the day of decision. The day we'll be together. Badler-san, I've firmly made up my mind. Does the fact that you're not here mean that after all, I'm not determined enough? No. It's because you and God are testing me, isn't it? In that case, I will endure. Until that promised day inevitably comes. So please, Badler-san, I want some proof that you haven't forgotten me. It was the crack that ran across my ceramic-like heart. I had to acknowledge it now. It may be that I'm pretending not to notice something terrifying and sad. Badler-san makes me yearn for him. Badler-san makes me sad. Badler-san makes it hurt. Badler-san, do you still remember me now? Damn. 1 year later, 1983, baby, let's go! Yeah, how are you gonna cope this time, Shannon? I'd love to know. And then came the third family conference since Badler-san left. If the number of beds was going to increase, we would have been told about that when setting up. The fact that nothing has changed in particular means that he probably won't be here this year either. Clinging to a final bit of hope, I stood by the docks, watching the boat draw closer.
Yo, Shannon ちゃん、今年もべっぴんだね。
ほら、エンジェ、足元に気をつけて。
いやーシャノン、やっぱり六軒島はいいね。早くクラウスおじさんもリゾート化すればいいのに。
しなくていいわよ。もったいないわ。
それもそうね。お久しぶりね、シャノン。背ちょっと伸びたんじゃない？
ありがとうございます。
今年もいい天気や。こうして親族誰一人欠けることなく。
Damn, Hideyoshi, wrong thing to say. Wow, it's so great. We have every single family member here, and it's all nice and cheerful.
それでは皆様。
Shannon's like, yeah,
お屋敷にご案
every
内いたし
family
ます。
member. That's lovely. So after all, Badler-san has been so thoroughly forgotten that he might not have existed in the first place. I'm sure the sadness will show on my face. Not wanting anyone to see it, I turned my back to the family and led the way up to the mansion by myself. Then, suddenly, someone mentioned Badler-san's name and I jumped.
バトラ君に会ったんですか？
元気にしてました？
ええ、元気だったわ。先日、エンジェを連れてちょっとだけお茶をしてきたの。
I was surprised. So Kirei-sama was in touch with Badler-san. According to her, both Badler-san and Rudolph-sama had long since calmed down after their fight. But both were so stubborn that they hadn't found a good chance to make up. And since Badler-san had gotten used to living with his grandparents, going to school there, and considering that those grandparents might make things even more difficult, going to convince Badler-san to come home wouldn't be easy.
仕方ないわよ。バトラ君よりアスムさんのご両親の方、もうこの喧嘩はバトラ君とルドルフさん。
じゃあバトラーはそのうち帰ってくるんですか？
ルドルフさんと仲直りはするけれど、後ろ仕方ないわ。気持ちもわかるもの。
It was a bit of relief to hear that some of the bad feeling had died down in these 3 years. If we take Asuma-sama's parents into account, it's no surprise that things haven't gone as well as they could. But if Badler-san doesn't hate Rudolph-sama anymore, then someday, surely he'll come back. Okay, so this one conversation reignites her hope. Like, okay, now it's just because, Asuma's parents are so stubborn that's holding us back, but like, once, things die down there, then, Badler and Rudolph, they want to reconnect, like, oh, no, there's hope, he'll come back, He'll have grown so much. My resolve will not waver anymore. For some nights these past 3 years, I felt sad and resentful. But now, it feels as though those 3 years were something I needed. After all, the seeds of love, the faint feelings I once had for you, have budded powerfully, waiting for the day that we'll be reunited. That's how honest my feelings for you are now. I love you. I want to see you again as soon as I can. Until that time, I'll keep that bud of love warm and growing for you. I won't doubt the coming of that day anymore. Just as I think of you under the same sky, I believe that you're thinking of me. I'm sure this news about him is a sign that God is cheering me on. So I ask God one more time inside my heart. Since my feelings for Badler-san have not wavered for a day these past 3 years, let me know that he feels the same way. I know that asking for that is a sin. However, now that we've reached a 3-year turning point, I want some gift from God, any gift, to show that I have not waited in vain. That is what I prayed.
そうだ、バトラ君とみんなもずいぶん長く会ってない。みんなも寂しがってるだろうから手紙を書きなさい。書かせてきたの？
Did he write one for Shannon? That's gonna be the telltale sign, right? He wrote one for all the cousins, but not for Shannon? Huh? Did God really hear my prayers? I felt as though my heart was going to leap out of my chest.
バトラからの手紙。へえ、あいつ何を書いたんだろう。
彼の近況でも書かれてるの楽しみだね。
Kiryu-sama pulled a brown envelope out of her bag and handed it to George-sama. Just one? When George-sama opened it, several folded letters came out.
これは僕は一枚一枚宛先がはい、こっちはジェシカちゃん。
サンキュー。
これはマリアちゃんに読めるかな。
後で読んで聞かせるわ。ありがとう。
エンジェちゃん宛てもあるよ。さすがにまだ読めないよね。
読めるようになったら渡すことにするわ。
こっちは元気で楽しく。ならよかったぜ。
それで全部ですか？
うん、これで全部みたいだね。
Yep.
ありがとう。
George-sama handed me the empty envelope. Apparently he thanked me because he thought I was offering to throw it away for him. And clearly there was nothing inside it. There was no letter for me. Oh.
おやおや、文面を見る限りバトラ君は毎日が充実してるって。
私の方にもそう書いてある。楽しく過ごせてるならそりゃ結構なことだぜ。
バトラ君たらひどいわね。キリエさんに手紙を書けと促されるまで私たちのことを忘れてたそうよ。
バトラ君らしいでしょ。ずいぶん生活が充実し、学校では女の子にモテモテみたいよ。
Ooh, Kiryu, you son of a bitch.
へえ、それはすごいね。
納得だぜ。
後ろ宮家へ帰ってくるつもりは
ないみたいだね。僕の方に六軒島に行くことはもうないだろうって書いてあるよ。
Oh, okay. Yep, there's the nail in the coffin. I knew that all these letters were trials from God. The fact that there was no letter for me, and the fact that he was enjoying life and forgotten about Rokenjima, were just more trials. Shannon, you're a sweetheart, but goddamn. Like, come on. Shannon. Shannon, please. God is testing me. The fact that there was no letter for me alone is proof of that. I do think there is something suspicious about the letters. I think there's something to that. I don't think they were quite battlers, but maybe they were. I'm not sure. Maybe there's no reason to doubt that, but I think the fact that they were all addressed to the cousins, and the fact that he would like write a letter for like Angie, even like even knowing that like she wouldn't be at an age where she can read, I think that's kind of suspicious. I'm not gonna lie. And the fact that he's writing a letter saying like, yeah, everything's great, life's wonderful, guys, don't even worry about it. Probably not come back to Rokenjima, don't worry about it, guys. And it's like, I feel like there's something suspicious there. I feel like Kiryu is being her, you know, conniving little self. I think there's something going on there. The fact that she would write a letter to Angie, even though she said that she had gone to have tea with Badler and Angie. Like, Angie was there when she went to talk with him. Which means, like, Badler would have had a chance to talk with Angie. We've seen from Angie's memories that she has memories of, like, going to, like, the arcade with Badler, right? Why would Badler then write a letter to Angie if he's already had a chance to interact with her outside of it? That doesn't make sense. So I do think the letters are suspicious. And of course, if someone else were to write these letters, they wouldn't know that Badler does have a connection to Shannon. They wouldn't know about the connection, because no one knows about that connection other than those two that are involved. So, I feel like there's something suspicious about those letters. I won't lie. Does it mean that Badler hasn't forgotten? No, there's no indication of that, but I think the letters themselves are kind of suspicious. That's what I want to think, but now it's just too much. Yeah.